Hello, I'm Adriana. I'm a Master Soul Path teacher and guide, and today I have an intuitive tarot reading for someone who needs a little bit of help and perhaps some clarity on their spiritual journey for today. If this doesn't resonate with you this time, perhaps the next reading will. I am tapping into a specific person's energy. Keep in mind, though, that any reading is meant to empower and support you, and you really need to take what resonates with you and use it responsibly. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and get some cards going. I'm going to start with some just kind of big picture stuff, and then we'll see where it goes with the specifics. That's nice. Always nice to see that Ten of Pentacles. Okay, a lot of communication going, a lot of tapping into one's truth. I'm going to start with where we are and then I'll keep going. So, Knight of Swords in your past, Ten of Pentacles in the present, so lesson learned, a big lesson has been learned, and Page of Swords in the future. This lesson that we're talking about is discovering a really important truth about yourself. And in the past, it's a truth that you have hidden from other people. Because either it wasn't safe to come out, or you were afraid that something would be taken from you, you would lose something if you really spoke this truth. But right now, you're at this point of feeling much more comfortable with who you are, and much more complete, Ten of Pentacles, in who you are. And so in the future, I see you really stepping forward with the Page of Swords to stand up for what's right, stand up for yourself. We are in Mercury retrograde right now, if you're watching this kind of in real time. And so that always brings up issues of communication and truth. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it's really asking us to go internal and look at the truths that we've been telling ourselves and telling other people. So traditionally, Page of Swords talks about legal contracts and agreements, kind of signing, reading the fine print carefully, looking at the bottom line. But, in a bigger picture, this is about being much more comfortable with speaking your truth and saying what you need to say without worrying about how other people are taking it. And actually, I also feel like this card is empowering you and encouraging you to say what you need to say, because everyone is open to hearing it. We've got a lot of different animals on this card: butterflies, swallows, who else is on there? Crows, of course. Probably animals I don't know as well. Anyway, so there are the right people are open to hearing what you have to say, and it's time to step out of that safe nest, that safe space, and really just open up your voice. So let's look at I'm going to look at the message from Spirit, also gifts and challenges that are with you right now. Message from Spirit, Ace of Cups, really nice. And for the very keen and observant eye, you will notice that this image, Ace of Cups, is also in this little postcard down here. Okay, this is about self-love. And so right now you're learning what does it mean to communicate self-love? Getting really honest about yourself opens the door for honest connections, for real connections that actually nourish and support you. You see that this crow is it's almost like he's drinking this water that's running all around the heart and the cup and all that. So this is speaking the truth was scary in the past because you were unsupported, but now when you're speaking the truth, it's actually setting the stage for these nourishing, supportive connections that also bring you a certain amount of, I'm going to say, wealth. And I'm not necessarily talking about material wealth, but just the wealth of well-being and the feeling that everything is okay now. You've worked hard. The pine cone is also It's the bloom of pain. So when you go through something painful, if you're aligned and on the spiritual path, aware of what's going on, you notice that something beautiful always comes out of the painful experience. You learn something, you become stronger. So, you've been through the pain, you've been through the hard work, and now it's time to kind of refresh the stage. That's what our Ace of Cups is about. Like, it's washing everything clean. All right. Now I've talked too much and I forgot which card was which. So I'm going to redraw gifts and challenges. All right, gifts, please. First, let's do that. Let's focus. All right. Gifts are 8 of Cups, right? And then challenge or obstacle, a little bit more. Okay, challenge or obstacle, 9 of Swords. So there's still a tiny bit of dread or anxiety about what others may think. Can I really step forward into this path? Do I have this strength? There's also, because swords, we've gotten quite a few swords in this reading here. It's also an informational thing. It's kind of like you feel like you need more information in order to be comfortable with taking that step forward. At the same time, 8 of Cups is saying that you've stayed in a place too long. And remember, this was the gift. And so I think that this card is actually the gift of knowing you've stayed in a certain place too long, whether it's a physical place or a mental space. There's an emotional attachment to where you've stayed. And this card is giving you permission to release. So you've got this inner knowing, you've got this permission from your higher self that it's time to release and step forward. Then in your way is this 9 of Swords saying, no, but I need more information. I need to know what's coming next, or I need to know something else so that I can feel comfortable. And the thing is that I'll ask for some advice, but the sense I'm getting is because you have gone through so much to make yourself stronger, this is also about more deeply trusting yourself rather than needing more information, more deeply trusting yourself. Because the thing is, you can ask for and try to find all the information in the world, but life is a way of bringing together different combinations of energy, meaning situations, people, weather, circumstances. These come together in all sorts of different combinations, which may be not what you rehearsed, which may be not what you researched. And so in those situations, all you can do is trust yourself. In my past life, and still this life, I did a lot with opera singers and performances and a lot of rehearsals. And the point of rehearsing is to get the bugs out, right? But something always happens on opening night or any other performance where you may not have done it before, right? So somebody jumps or something goes wrong or we're missing this or this prop falls down. That didn't happen in rehearsal. But because we've rehearsed enough, because we've struggled through enough, we've learned as much as we can, you've got the confidence that you can handle any kind of situation that's in front of you. So that's really the bigger message here, is trust yourself, trust the work you've done, trust all of the energy and investment you've really put into yourself. So let's get some advice on how to move through the 9 of Swords. And also let's look at, let's give you a little bit more about the future. What does the future look like if we move through this block, and then give us advice on how to get through it? Okay. Future, 3 of Wands. Okay, it's exactly what we were just talking about. So we've got 3 of Wands, we've got the High Priestess, and she's looking at the 5 of Swords. So whatever comes up for you, what battles, internal or external, High Priestess says you have the answers. You know exactly what it is that you have to do. And so, right now, instead of planning for the information that you're seeking, we need a contingency plan for how are you going to tap into your intuition? How are you going to tap into your inner knowing when you're under the gun, when you're under the wire? So, what do you need to do this week to get your intuition stronger so that when you're in a situation that you may not have quite a handle on, you still feel confident that you're connected to that eternal source of wisdom for you? Now, that may mean making some more time to meditate this week. That may mean taking some more time to find space for the activities that really get your mind in that quiet, receptive space. It's a nice spring here, and for some people, I know gardening or walking outside is how you can connect with that meditative space. But it's planning. It's also just like a little mental plan or a little mental switch that, okay, when something comes up, instead of freaking out about the information, I'm going to go inside. It's preparing that you're going to be ready to go inside and ask those questions and seek the answer from there. Three of Wands is talking to me a little bit as well. What are you saying here? There's something about going through different stages. So is this like different stages of growth, or is this different? See, this comes for the future. So I want to say, I'm kind of like seeing big and small at the same time. So this may be like a literal program you're going through, or like almost like a job training where you have to go from one level to the next. But I think this is also just saying to you that in the bigger spiritual concept of things, you're not staying at this stage forever. You're passing, this is on the way to something bigger and better. Okay, so it's like the right stage at the right time, and that's where your intuition is so crucial, because it's that inner knowing that tells you kind of when you're ready to move to the next stage, but also knowing what to do within the stage. Can you give me a little more specific information about these stages that we're talking about? Page of Pentacles. Okay, so it is about learning a new skill, learning about a different part of yourself. But it's funny, I went straight to the work sphere before. I do feel like this is talking about the work sphere, especially with the Page of Pentacles coming out. This is an opportunity to learn something new that makes your situation better, whether it's material gain or a better sense of self. This brings something to you. So to tie all of this together, what's in your way is worrying about information, worrying about having enough knowledge, but you've been through this journey of learning more of who you are specifically, who you are, what you stand for, what you stand up for, how receptive people are to your words now, and that it's time to move forward through these stages that you see in front of you, trusting yourself, really trusting and honoring the work you've done, making more space to go inside and finding that rhythm of wisdom. Okay, one last thing before we go. Now, there is a fear of either being disempowered or, someone taking advantage of you, someone stepping on you, you not being able to rise to the occasion. And that's a little bit of shadow work that still needs to be cleared out. I want to say this is something regarding your feminine side. We have the symbolism of a black cat here, and cats are associated generally with the feminine energy. Again, generally, it's a big cat, and it's black, which is also a sign for the feminine. So your feminine energy may be out of balance, which I think that's why it's important to really take that time and space to meditate and get quiet again, because it's the feminine energy that really can help us connect to that divine flow. We've been talking about the high priestess. We don't really have a lot of masculine intuition cards here. This is more feminine intuition cards. So feminine intuition works by receiving and absorbing. Okay, and that's why getting into that meditative state, getting quiet, receiving calm, receiving the information, receiving the sense of where you need to go next. When you're receiving information, sometimes I think that gets to the masculine side because it gets into the territory of swords and air. This is more about receiving the feeling or receiving the sense. And that it's really imperative that you drop into that next phase of sensing and feeling, because there has been a lot of air, a lot of sword activity. So, almost half the cards on this table are swords, and the next place after swords, air goes into water. So from the thoughts into the feelings and emotions, that's the natural evolution of the elements. So just keep that in mind as well, and pay attention to that feminine side being perhaps a little out of whack. I think there's been a lot of, you've had to assert yourself a lot, which is not bad, but just coming back to that space of receiving rather than doing will help to balance that feminine a bit more. Okay, well, that closes our reading for the day. Wishing you peace and strength and comfort and love on your journey. If you are interested in working one-on-one with me, I do offer private readings as well as mentoring packages. So if you feel our energy works well together, please do go to my website, soulguidancewithadriana.com, and look at the offerings I have there. I'll see you next time.